Hey everybody, it's Jordan. Welcome to What About the Game. Today I'm going to be talking about Octodad on the Nintendo Switch. Octodad is a mental game. I'm not sure how else to describe it so succinctly. Playing it results in a rather puzzled facial expression, a mix between what am I doing with my life and this is genius. Just stretching over the 2-year mark, I reviewed this game for the Nintendo Wii U, so please bear that in mind. If you saw that video, which you probably didn't, this is going to share a lot of similarities, but tweaked for the Switch port. The game puts you in the shoes, or tentacles, of Octodad, an octopus secretly living a double life as a family man. He escaped the ocean and is now living in suburbia with a wife and 2 young kids. Let's not go into detail about how they got the kids though. The prologue, i.e. the tutorial, starts you off at your very own wedding. The bride is waiting for you at the altar, and your first task is to make your way there to say your vows. It's a nice way to introduce the game and its wacky set of controls. You must control your limbs separately. The analog sticks control your arms, or the tentacle that's used like an arm. The right analog stick controls the height of the arm, as in makes it go up and down. The left analog stick controls the depth, so pushing up makes the arm go away from you, holding it down makes it come closer to the camera. It's confusing and utterly mental. If that's not weird enough, holding either the ZL or ZR buttons switches the control from the arm to the left or right leg respectively. You can only walk in the game by moving each leg independently. It's totally insane and totally hilarious, made all the more so by the overzealous physics. After the prologue, you awake in your home many years later. At the beginning, your goal is just to fulfill everyday menial tasks like make coffee, mow the lawn, and go shopping, all the while trying to avoid giving it away that you're a cephalopod in disguise. Using the physics and controls while doing adult chores is the best part of the game, to be fair. It's hilarious swinging the lawnmower round and round, or trying to swipe the last box of cereal from a lady's shopping trolley, inadvertently smashing the whole cart into her face or something like that. The more chaos that you cause, the more likely you are to be discovered for what you really are. You have to do everything as normal as possible. If you attract too much attention, then it's over for you. I can't say that I ever felt in danger of being discovered. There is a meter down the bottom of the screen which shows how suspicious people are of you. Even when I was going mental, slipping on banana peels, accidentally grabbing fruit out of a bloke's hand and then smashing it into his face, I still didn't get really close to being discovered. If it's not clicked in your head yet already, Octodad Dadliest Catch is a comedy game at heart. The premise, the controls and the physics all have a lot of promise for a hilarious experience. However, let's not beat around the bush. It's an absolute pain in the arse to control, but that's also what makes it entertaining. There's a fine line between having a laugh and feeling frustrated. Octodad does cross that line sometimes, unfortunately. Well, I'd say it's frustrating pretty much all of the time, but because it's so weird and funny, you don't really notice it. Only in moments when the joke falls flat, or when you spend 10 minutes just trying to climb a ladder for the 10th time, or knock down things in a throwing game, that's when you notice it. It's not long before the menial tasks come to a sad end. Soon you're whisked away to an aquarium, something which Octodad is of course scared about, and the real plot begins. Up until now, your everyday tasks have been occasionally interrupted by a crazed chef who is hell-bent on exposing you for what you are. It turns out he works at the aquarium. It's at the aquarium that it becomes more like an actual game, with stealth and adventure sections, and that's sort of where the game loses its way a little. You can see why Young Horses went in this direction, as they needed to give the game a little bit of meaning, but personally I would have been more than happy to do episodes of random everyday occurrences. Getting forced into the hairdressers, going to the dentist, having Christmas dinner with the extended family. Seeing Octodad do all of these, and seeing how he can get through them without it being exposed, would have been great enough for me. I don't think boss battles and stealth sections need to be part of it. It's actually a very short game. I finished the main story in less than 2 hours, and I don't think I was particularly rushing it. Although if you want to explore every little bit and find all the interactive sections outside the main story, then you're probably going to stretch it out a little bit longer. There are also 2 extra episodes available. These play out in similar sections to the story mode, but just random scenes not tied to the story. Honestly, they are the silliest part of the game. Indeed, they're the epitome of Octodad. Short 15-minute scenes that are inconsequential to anything, but are funny in their own little bubble. This is what Octodad should have been. If you want even more things to do, then there are plenty of internal achievements to get, usually by doing something silly or random, or you can go around and collect different ties for Octodad to wear. There are a good few dozen of them to find, and it's actually quite fun scouting them out. You really need to be inquisitive to find them all. There's also a rather bizarre, if ingenious, multiplayer mode where different players are able to control different limbs. It definitely gives a different experience playing with other people, as it's more of a focus on cooperation and teamwork. It's also a massive test of your patience. It's still fun though, and it's worth a shot if you have friends over. Back when I reviewed the Wii U version of Octodad, there was one massive issue: the performance. To put it bluntly, it was a shambles and should have never been released in the state it was. The frame rate was horrendous with frequent freezes and so on. Thankfully, Young Horses have released a solid version here with none of the issues that plagued the Wii U port, so if you were worried, don't be. As the second time of me playing this game, it's almost like a fresh new experience, like an awakening compared to the Wii U one. Overall, they're asking for a slightly high price for such a short, silly, sometimes frustrating game, but it's fun. You can't get away from that. It really has its moments. It's probably worth it to you if you love slapstick humour and loopy gameplay mechanics, and this is a great smooth port. It's sad that the story goes in a slightly the wrong direction, but you can still find enjoyment in it. I think it could be a good one for couples to play, especially if you enjoyed playing something like Snipper Clips together. Okay guys, if you've enjoyed this review, then be sure to subscribe because that would help me out so much. You can read the full review of Octodad, the Dadliest catch at whataboutthegame.com, and you can follow me on Facebook and Twitter if you want to. All the links are below. Thanks guys, bye bye.